Well, welcome to Story and Structure of the Bible. This class is a beginning hermeneutics course, and the goal of this course is designed around a singular idea of God's redemptive story from bookend to bookend. So we're going to start in the book of Genesis, and we're going to end in week 8 in the book of Revelation. We're going to tie the pieces together, and we're going to see that one storyline of God's redemptive story within the different sections of the Old and New Testament. Now, this class is a stretch one for many beginning freshmen or sophomores, and it's really designed to take you outside of the box of what you've been maybe introduced to in the Christian church, and find a topic, a theological topic that you could write on and address, and fit it within a cultural context. So your job in week number 1 is to focus in on a primary audience that you would like to think about and direct that theme toward. Some people have looked at suffering in the Old Testament and tied it to the New. Others have looked at God's rest or our physical rest from this life and the life to come. Others have looked at the sacrificial system in the Old Testament, how it's fulfilled in the New. Whatever theological theme you intend to write about, you need to think about the audience that you intend to minister to. So the whole idea of context, contextualization, and using the biblical genre to help you address the biblical themes within that particular people group. It can be as easy as ministering to junior high students, high school, small group ministry. If you're a minister, you could do a sermon. The sky's really open right now for your topic. If you have questions, you can always feel free to email me. So that's the essence of where this class is going. It's to bridge the divide. There's a river that divides first century context of the New Testament all the way to the BC, before Christ. So we're talking thousands and thousands of years here before the church is born. And so there is this cultural context that we have to bridge. We have to go over it, and then we have to think about how does the biblical passage apply in our lives. It's important for us to think about principles, supracultural principles, as one theologian writes. Is it for all time, or was it for the time in which the writers of that particular genre intended the people to apply in their lives? Well, we can always say that Scripture is for all time, and we want to find principles for our lives so that we can apply and also use in the context of where we're living in the ministry that we are conducting. So early on, you need to choose that theological theme and then begin to research it, write on it, and move forward. There's going to be other elements of filling in some charts, tables for you to do from the reading. Make sure that you do complete each week's reading as you complete it, because many students will forget and you're losing points, really valuable points, at the end of 8 weeks. Now lastly, on discussion threads, it is encouraged that you should post at least 3 times. The first post should be 2 by 4. That means it's 2 paragraphs, no more than 4 lines for each of those paragraphs. To go beyond that, people stop reading and they are having a hard time digesting what you actually said. So in those 2 paragraphs, those 2 by 4 first posts, you should give some biblical scripture to support your interaction with the discussion question. Secondly, you should interact with the primary reading for that week. So what did the reading help you with in deriving some insights in the context of the discussion threads? And then make sure 2 other times you're posting with your classmates and interacting with their thoughts as well. Now, because of the class and the nature of so many students in a course, I try to interact as much as I possibly can. But what I do is I insert videos every week and comment on things that you should know and should be thinking about in regards to the week. I also post mini PowerPoint presentations of the individualized topic for that week. Pretty much is a summary of the Old or New Testament section that we're looking at for our context in that given week. I hope it helps and gives you a summary, a background. It's not a full lecture, but they're small mini clips that you are encouraged to at least watch and think about. Hopefully it will trigger some topics for your theological paper and will help you along the way. So that's kind of the flow of class. Generally don't deduct if you're late more than a day or two. If it goes beyond a week, you get a 1-letter grade drop down. If it's beyond that, again, another letter grade drop down. But if you are in need of an extension because you're of illness or some emergency, please email me as soon as possible. I'll be glad to interact with you on next steps that you should do. And if you're intending to withdraw from the class, I cannot withdraw you. That happens at the registrar's office, and you need to communicate with them so that they can fill out the paperwork and get that in due order back to me, and also update the class shell with the rules and regulations and policies that are set forth by the Institute. Okay? Check out my profile on Blackboard, and you'll see my contact information, telephone number, emails, and you can also connect with me on LinkedIn and or Facebook or social media, Twitter. Love to interact with you as I can.